Honestly, this is a bit of a test for me. This is working. It says it's working. We have two cameras. We have this camera and we have this camera. Right. So, what I'm going to build is in the. I'll get this so you can see. In this, the TURBOBUS. When I built this, in the video, the advertising video, there was there was a bit about beverages. I mentioned beverages, and everyone in the back of the vehicle, which is my daughter has been using a lizard in the vehicle. In the back of the vehicle, you can see they all have coffee cups and they can sit down and stuff. However, there's actually no beverage machine in it. So what I'm going to do is add one here, where we've got these containers. I think if we put one there, it kind of gives you a coffee machine going through. I have no plan for it at all. What I do have is a ton of bricks that I got from eBay. I bought a big lot of bricks for £20, and it's actually turned out to be quite a good lot because I got 3 large models from it that I'll probably sell for like 30-20 quid each. So I paid 20 on it, and I can easily make that back in what I've bought. But what I have also got is a load of extra stuff. I haven't sorted any of this. It's not been sorted into my boxes, but I thought since it's all here, I might also make the coffee machine out of it. I keep looking over there, but actually the camera's in this corner on this thing. So let's try and make a coffee machine. I'm going to chuck you up here. Ooh. So you can see. What I need to do is rip that out first, because that is the unit that they were sat on top of. I don't know how bad this is going to be in terms of rustling noises, because I feel like it's gonna be like super rustly. So we need something that looks a bit like. So also in this lot there was a lot of I think these must be from the Star Wars advent calendar, because there's loads of bits, but what they do have on them is these. And I've seen people use under these as like coffee spray things. Ooh, also this is quite cool. So actually a lot of these Star Wars parts, because they're grey, will probably be quite good for building a coffee machine. So we're going to take off these will be useful. We should just start by putting stuff on it really. I want some tubey bits. So like, I mean that's a pretty good tubey bit. That black bit there, which is like a technicky bit. I need some piping. Some piping is what I need. Maybe that thing. What we need is like, we need a unit that can go up and over a coffee cup, so that it can spray into a coffee cup. I don't know if there are any coffee cups in here for me to use. Oh, there literally is a coffee cup right here. That'll do. And that black one of those is quite good for like the handle on a coffee machine, so we'll use that. And there's an angle brick there. Ooh, that'll do. Yeah, so we use that for holding a button. Don't know if we'll be able to find a button, but we will try. I mean, this is how I do a lot of my. That's quite cool. You can probably use that as like the like the screen for the coffee machine. This is kind of like how I do my building. I basically just I often don't have a plan for what I'm doing. I just grab stuff and see what's interesting and what I can build with. There's a lot of grey barrels here, which I can use for like tubing. If we add a grey, I want to be able to actually put the coffee cup down. So what I need is like essentially something like that, but in grey or black, so that the coffee cup can sit on it. That's quite fun. We'll have some black bits. Black would be fine. It doesn't necessarily have to be grey, probably, to go with all of this, even though grey would be my preferred colour for classic space stuff. Bit blue. I'm basically just digging for anything interesting that I can use, I mean, like something like that. We can use that as like the back piece and attach stuff to it. So we're going to use that, and then we're going to put that on as like a top screen. Where can we put that? We need to lift it up, and then we need to put, we still need to find something. Ah, there you go, that's what I was looking for. One of them. So that can go on the bottom, like that. And then the coffee cup can sit on it, like that. And then I reckon if this goes above it somehow, we lift it up a bit, maybe one brick high. But we want to make the brick interesting. We don't want to just use a grey, boring brick. What can I use that will be... I mean, I do have a grey brick right there, which I could use. I might use that. That's quite fun. You might be able to hear a buzzing in the background. It's my baby monitor for my kids. I tend to keep it on in the evenings in case they wake up and need the toilet, because one of them is 6 and one of them is 3. So I want to try and intercept them if they go out to the toilet, so that I can get to them before they do, in case they don't get there on time, because that would be problematic for my evening. Alright, I reckon that's quite cool, like that. So I reckon if that goes... Oh no, because we need to have something that actually pours the coffee in. Maybe we'll have this next to it, as like the control bits of the coffee machine. And then we need something that goes over the black bit that goes over the top will need to go over there. I kind of want... I mean, this probably sounds awful, but this is test bed to find out how bad this kind of building does sound. If we put this over here, so we've got like that over there now, and that means we can put stuff below it down here, which would be quite fun. I think maybe, can we turn that? What about if we did that? So what I've done now is I've attached a, well, they're not even in height, but that's fine. I've attached the tap, I think that's a tap, to this snot brick, and if I attach that to the top like that, see, that's not going to line up. Oh, it might line up if I push it. Might be able to get it to line up there. Yeah, and then if I add another pipe, it'll look like it's piping stuff in to the top. Yeah, is it working? Kind of works. What do we reckon of that? That looks quite fun. So we've got piping going to there. I'll just check the height of this actually. You're going around making all this and it won't actually fit in the hole. Ooh, yes, right, so it doesn't fit. We do have a maximum height we can go to, and we've exceeded it already. I shall show you. So, the piece that sits on top of this, obviously it's countersunk in. Can you see that? It's countersunk in, so it sits on it, and because it's countersunk, it can't move sideways or backwards or whatever. So when the kids are playing with it, it won't rattle around. But that does mean that this can't be this high. It needs to be like half a brick lower, because you see all these bits are lower. So we need to go to that height. So if I drop it down half a brick, or in fact actually if we drop down quite a bit more than that, maybe if we drop down a whole brick, that'll be enough. Of course then that means I need to find a grey 1x2 in an unsorted box of stuff. Maybe we'll just use this dark grey bit from what I am assuming was the Mandalorian's ship in the advent calendar, because it kind of looks like that, so it probably was. If we do this at this height instead, if we do it at that height, and see if that fits in. That didn't fit. Okay, it does, but this pipey job is still too high, which is kind of a shame because I quite like that. But yes, obviously we can't have that because it doesn't actually fit. Maybe we'll just put something on the top of that to kind of cap it off. What would be nice is if we had a grey. There we go, that'll do. I was going to say if we had a grey one brick, but finding one of those in a box of unsorted Lego. That's looked kind of like a pipe going into it. So what we need to do now is the pipe, is the serving-y thing to kind of go over the top of that. Might ditch that. We might keep that grey stripe going along the back, so that everything can be mounted to it. What else do we need? What else would be fun to look at? Kind of want to use this thing though. Oh, actually, if we put this on there instead, like that, maybe that could go there, like it was squirting coffee into the thing. That could kind of work, couldn't it? Or, what about if it was this way around? And then kind of sits on top of it. That might be fun. Downside with that obviously is it doesn't go in far enough to do that. It won't line up with it. Also, I would have to have this grey brick centred because the coffee cup is centred. So maybe we won't do that. Kind of want it angled, I guess. Because I suppose this is supposed to be like the nozzle squirting the coffee in. So maybe if we offset it. Actually, we can offset it. We can offset it through on the third brick and leave a 2 gap here. And leave it on the third, and that would fit. So maybe we want like, what do we want behind it? We kind of want some like grills or something behind it. Maybe I could try black, see what that looks like. Yeah, that's not too bad. And then, oops, we want the squirty thingy. Will that work? It might not be far enough over actually. Maybe we do want it on. Yeah, okay, so we're going to do it then. I think this brick needs to go up one. Ooh, that's fun. Keep that in case there's quite a lot in this box. There's a lot of blue smooth plates, which is actually quite useful because at Christmas I want to do. Last year I did a like a Christmas house, and this year I want to do an ice rink on modular boards so they can all fit together. It's kind of like a new Christmas tradition. So I'm going to need quite a lot of this kind of stuff to make ice anyway, so probably useful to have it. I will need to sort out this entire box of stuff to see what we can find, to see if I can find anything interesting to build with. It's more pipey bits. Loads of pipes in there. The pipes are good. I use them all. I'm going to be using this. The big remote control vehicle that I'm working on at the moment. I'm going to put this back together since I've accidentally just smashed part of it off. I need some piping for this. I've already put some yellow piping in, but I want some different piping. One of the biggest problems with using this piece as a front visor is actually connecting it to stuff, because it's such an awkward shape on the front because it's not meant to be at this angle. So that's what I've currently got. I've got this like Technic beam system on the front so that it all hinges, and then I'll have something at the back to pin this down to stop it from going back over. But this is something I'm working on, not right now. I keep shelving it because I keep running out of inspiration. It's kind of like one of those models I have on the go when I'm doing work, and I'll pick it up every so often and do a little bit more on it. Ooh, I just found. I wonder if we can incorporate the lightsaber bit into this somehow. Either way, I still need to add these nozzly things. They're cool. I wonder if that was Slave 1 or part of Slave 1. Probably. I do need something that's going to lift it up a little bit. Maybe we'll use a dark grey. Maybe I'll lift that entire black brick up to there. And then if that bit's sticking over it. That kind of looks, yeah, it looks cool. And then I need something on the other side to counteract that, maybe like this nozzly bit. What I'm kind of trying to do is just add in interest, really. Kind of just something to break up the flatness of the space. I'll double check this still fits now that I've gone and done that, because I made it higher. Yes, that's about the maximum height we can go to, which does mean actually what we could do is, if I took that nozzle out, lifted it up by 1, I could put a brick across the top, which would look alright. I don't know how much you can hear every time I start rustling, because I thought this was going to use my AirPods for my microphone, and I think it's actually using the iPad, which means the audio quality might actually be garbage. And I won't be able to know until I have finished recording, so that's good. So this might be a complete waste of time. Also, I can't see if anyone's watching. I assume no one is, because why would you? Anyway, it's all a learning process in which I am learning not a lot. I think we'll kind of have it going the whole way across, because that's kind of interesting. What can we have that looks fun? That won't fit, will it? Probably not. Ooh, actually, if I do it sideways, that's kind of fun, because then you've got like you've got this piping here, and then you can just about see the thing behind it, which it looks kind of cool. So if we, what I want to do is finish off that bit behind. Annoyingly, this box is kind of full of more modern colours. And as we all know, I don't use modern colours, so there's a bit of a guesswork to finding stuff that kind of works with what I want. Oh, there's a nice red bit there, I'll have that. I like red. Just knock that off. That can be kind of like, actually, and there's a grey bit there as well. So if we put like a red bit there, and a grey button there, that looks kind of fun. Need something, ooh, actually, I grabbed it earlier, I can use this. That looks kind of good. What I could do with is a plate to go across the entire top. But the likelihood of me finding a grey 1x8 smooth plate on all of this, pretty darn low. And I don't actually remember seeing any in here anyway. So, probably not going to use one of those. That's kind of all I need to finish this off, I reckon. I reckon if I put, oops, no, I dropped my thing. I reckon if we changed this grey smooth piece to this grey one that I've just found, this guy, put it there, oops, what that will now give me is a smooth across the top that is exactly 8. And then if I just grab an 8 brick from my box of smooth plates from here, so I've got all of my comfort space stuff organised into boxes, just to make life easier. The fun thing is, each one of these boxes was holding scented candles before. And then I put my Lego in it. Every time I open these boxes, I get like a waft of scented candles. It's quite pleasant. I highly recommend it. Probably does mean that it's putting residual candle wax all over my bricks, but you know, whatever. Right, I think this is looking quite cool. You see, you've got like a spout here to squirt the coffee in. You've got like a control panel-y thing, some piping, some buttons. I reckon, to be honest, I would say that's probably done. So let's put it in the vehicle and see what it looks like. I'll get rid of all this stuff that I just picked up, because this is all going to get sorted anyway. We'll put this guy, just, I don't know, chuck him on the Space Centre, that'll be fine. Let's get rid of this. Don't need this anymore. just stood on a Lego brick, which, as we all know, is incredibly painful. So now we will put this back in the corner. Oh no, didn't account for that. This side's now too tall, and there's a brick here, it's clipping. I kind of don't want to take the coffee machine apart because I quite like what I've done, so instead we'll be slightly more extreme and we'll remove this. Move the coffee machine back. Put it in. Nice. And then we can put that back together. All we need is a blue 2x1 brick, which we can get from our magical box. This is my box of plastic space bricks. Got it sorted into like bricks, plates. You might think that it would be, they're supposed to be sorted into slopes as well. I don't know how that one's got in there. You would think that it would make more sense to do it by colour. And a lot of people do sort their Lego by colour, but honestly I found it almost impossible to sort by colour. I find that if you put too much colour in one place, for me it becomes just a visual clutter, and I can't identify individual bricks. The worst ones for it is if you get like a big box and you just fill it with black bricks of just like all different types. I can't see anything in there when I look, it's just ridiculous. Right, I have questions, and they are specifically, why is this not covered completely? How's that? Ah, right, there you go, that's why. Because I lost the brick. So we've lost that bit down there, which I don't think is going to cause a problem for this when it goes back on. If I put it back on the right way around. Yep, that's fine. So now we've got the coffee machine opposite the toilets, which is good because you can have your coffee and then immediately run to the toilet. And I reckon for this evening, that'll do. Kind of finishes this off a bit. The only thing that I don't like now is how plain this whole section is, because the back's quite good. I added like a floor section in here, which is quite fun. And we've got spare seats. We've only got enough space for 2 sets of air tanks and helmets. So like the 2 people that sit here wouldn't be able to take those off and put them anywhere. I did think about that at the time, but I couldn't think of a way of doing it because there wasn't enough space, ironically. So, nah, I quite like that. I think the section's fine. And this section's just kind of like an entrancey bit. It folds out, and people climb up the ladder, come inside, and then this door opens, boop, and then they can walk inside here. So I guess what you would do is like, you would climb up, and then you would close this hatch, repressurize this, and then open this hatch, and then go inside. So we've got the back of the bus, and then you go through and you've got your coffee, and you've got your toilets, and then you've got the front of the bus with some more dudes and some computers. And I think that's fine. I think this looks alright. So I'm happy with that for this evening. I think that has, see, this is supposed to be 2 different panels. You're supposed to put that panel on first, and then that's just fallen off. Can't remember where that was. Let's just assume it was there. And then you put this panel on, but I left these 2 bits exposed, and it keeps clipping on and coming off as one piece, which is kind of annoying. But there you go. That was my mission for this evening, which was to add a coffee machine. We have added a coffee machine, so good job. I think next time we'll probably maybe do something on the remote control vehicle, which is going alright. I can probably just about show you what I've done. So all really I've done so far is built the shell underneath. I ended up using a lot more bricks than I wanted to, because I wanted to keep the weight down, but and I know I say I hate fake Lego, and I even made a reel about it. These 2 motors are not real Lego, they are fake ones, because the actual motors are like super expensive on eBay. They're like 30 quid each, and I don't have that money, whereas these were like 10 quid for 2 of these super motors for this, and they're not particularly fast, but they are particularly torquey. They give it quite a lot of revving, which is good. And even you can can see that it's got quite a lot more power. I quite like having the tracks on. Originally I built a tracked one, and then I built another tracked one, and then I destroyed both of those and built one with wheels, because I thought that wheels would handle off-roading better, because when I tried the tracked one in the garden, the tracks were getting gunked up in grass and they weren't working. So I thought I would try the wheels, and then they weren't that great either. So I thought I'd go back to tracks again, because tracks should in theory be better. But I hadn't done it with these motors, I'd used the medium motors, but now with these large, super big motors, I think it's going to be a lot better. So next step is to add some place to sit and pin this down so it stops coming open, and then I can add more details to it and finish it. It's as simple as that. Just finish it. We have a saying at work which is it's just a button push. When somebody asks you to do something, oh, it's just you just push a button and it's done. It's a similar concept. Anyway, that's it. I really hope this is actually recorded. It would be hilarious if it's not recorded any of it, or if the audio is just blank. But if you have watched, thank you for watching. And if you haven't watched, that was mean. You should have watched, because it was so